Hey guys, welcome to my classroom. Today we're going to be doing a critique on one of my ex-students' artworks, my friend Christian. This is his drawing of Shovel Knight. He submitted it into the Shovel Knight picture, and after looking at it, I figured there's a couple pieces of critique and advice I can give him, and I wanted to make a video about it, not because I'm bashing him or anything like that, but because I feel like this particular stuff can be beneficial to everyone, and I thought this was the perfect piece to talk about silhouetting. Silhouetting is a technique where you take your drawing and you just remove all details and just make it completely black and white, having the character in silhouette, a shadow version of him, if you will. And you look at the drawing and you see if any of the details get lost, or can you still understand what the character is or what he's posing as. And this is a technique used a lot in like television shows, even live action, where like if you ever notice the characters, they always drink from the side, never directly towards the camera, because it makes it easier to understand that the character is drinking from the mug, versus if the pose is a little bit more muddled, it gets a little bit weaker. And so with this one, we have Shovel Knight here, and I think we can improve the pose by putting it through silhouette and then redrawing the pose once again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to silhouette it. There we go. And as you can see here, a lot of details do stay intact. We have the shovel, obviously it's clearly a shovel. We have his arm, we clearly see that he's holding it. But it's this area that seems the most problematic. We can see that the arm's still bent over here, though I think this could be a little bit more triumphant. But this right here makes the bone feel like it's like broken and hanging out of the socket. Now, it's a little tricky because Shovel Knight does have armor. But I think we can take this a little bit further. So what I'm going to do here is let's start kind of sketching out a new pose out of this this particular same drawing. So we obviously have the head. That's great. So what I'm doing here is I'm pumping out his chest a little bit more and giving him a more stern and heroic pose. Because Shovel Knight is a hero. He needs to be fierce and he needs to be strong. And so as you can see here, I've drawn his lines with very straight elements, with a little bit of push towards the forward, but for the most part I needed him to have this like he needs to have his foot on it, and I wanted him to have these straight lines to represent just how fierce he is and how sure of himself he is, you know. With him having such thick armor, we want to draw the shoulder blades, which I think he missed on the first drawing, or they're further behind, but I'm going to go ahead and draw them on the shoulders now. Follow up, I'm going to draw loosely what I think his arm should be. When you first start sketching, you want to focus on more shapes and general theories of where pieces are, and you never want to go too far into detail too early, because these circles and very, gestury lines, they're easy to draw and quick to fix. And if you start adding too much detail to different armor pieces, you're going to be less likely to edit your stuff to fix them because you've already put in the effort. And honestly, it's better for you to get the general idea of what the pose is going to be before you start adding too much detail. Now I'm going to go ahead and start adding in the different armor plates. Alright, so now we have the two drawings here. On the left is Christian's, and then on mine is my sketch. And let's see if my silhouetting technique works well with me, or does it hurt me. With the exception of my awesome color job, where there's little bits and pieces in here, you get a little bit more of the anatomy of the character and different pieces. We no longer have this broken off part, which may look okay in the final form, but in silhouette, it looks really off. And with the design here, everything kind of flows a little bit better. Is my pose the greatest? No, it still needs a little bit more work. Maybe have the character raising the arm a little bit more and having the shovel more in a fighting pose. Having his arm a little bit more high-strung to really help, show that he's a fighting character. Having his waist a little bit more forward and having the one leg back a little bit more to really show the character going a little bit further with it. But overall, that's silhouetting. It's a technique that I think all artists should use, and I think it will really benefit anyone's drawing, especially during the sketching stage. And always go through a whole phase of sketching. Don't go too much detail. One mistake a lot of early artists do is they tend to start drawing a face and immediately going into the eyes, the mouth, and other things, and not the rest of the body's drawn. But what if your body looks great, but the head doesn't quite work with it? Now you have to erase all that detail. You should go through phases and passes and go through the whole drawing at once and then go back to it and refine that and refine that and refine that. You should never be stuck in one area for too long. You should be going throughout the whole thing. It keeps your eyes from getting used to the drawing and keeps them fresh, as well as just good practice. If you enjoyed this video, let me know down below, and if you have any questions, feel free. And thank you, Christian, for being my guinea pig. I appreciate it so much.